This is a really sad story. In July 1945, this group of 13-year-old American girls went camping. They decided to go for a swim in a river in Ruidoso, New Mexico. The girl you see at the front of this photo is named Barbara Kent. What these girls didn't know, and couldn't have possibly known, was that just nearby, the U.S. military was secretly testing the world's first atomic bomb. It was a core part of the top-secret Manhattan Project. Years later, Barbara talked about what she experienced that day. She said, "We were all just shocked. Then suddenly, there was a big cloud above us and strange lights in the sky." She remembered. It even hurt our eyes to look up. The whole sky looked strange, like the sun came out all at once, but really, really bright. A few hours after that mysterious flash, something even stranger started to happen. White flakes began to fall from the sky. The girls, being young and full of life, were absolutely thrilled. They thought it was snow, a magical summer snowstorm in New Mexico. Without a second thought, they put their swimsuits back on and ran back to the river to play in what they believed was a miracle. Barbara recalled, "We grabbed the white stuff and put it on our faces, but there was something wrong." She continued, "Instead of being cold like snow, it was hot. We just thought it was hot because it was summer." We were only 13. They had no idea what they were actually playing in. Those hot, white flakes weren't snow. They were radioactive dust, the fallout from the nuclear bomb test. The bomb, codenamed Trinity, had exploded at 5:29 in the morning. It was detonated on top of a 100-foot steel tower, about 40 miles away from where the girls were camping, in a valley called Jornada del Muerto, which ironically translates to Journey of the Dead. The military had chosen this location because they believed it was a remote, uninhabited wasteland, but they were wrong. Thousands of people lived in the surrounding areas. Some families were as close as 12 miles away from the blast, and nobody warned them. No alarms, no evacuation orders, not before the test and not after. The radioactive fallout continued to drift down from the sky, dusting the land, the water, and the people for days. The fate of the girls in that photograph is heartbreaking. Every single one of them developed cancer, and all of them, except for Barbara, died before they reached the age of 30. Barbara lived longer, but her life was a constant battle. She fought cancer more than once, a lifelong reminder of that strange summer day. We often remember the horrifying impact of the atomic bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in Japan. Those events are rightly etched into our history, but we tend to forget the cost paid by American citizens, the people who lived near the very first tests on U.S. soil. These were the first victims of the atomic age, the downwinders whose stories were buried for decades. It wasn't just the innocent locals who were affected. Even some of the people who worked on the project were haunted by what they had unleashed. One man, a scientist named Dave Michaels, was initially fascinated by the science. He was brilliant and driven, working tirelessly on the Manhattan Project at the time. He didn't fully grasp the long-term consequences of his work, but when the reality of the bomb's destructive power and the insidious nature of its fallout became clear, it broke him. The knowledge of the suffering he had helped create consumed him with guilt. He couldn't forgive himself. His mental health deteriorated rapidly, and he ended up spending the rest of his days in a psychiatric hospital. He died there just a few years later, another casualty of the bomb, but in a different way. And this tragedy wasn't unique to America. A similar, and perhaps even more forgotten, story unfolded in Maralinga, Australia, in the 1950s and 60s. The British government conducted a series of nuclear tests there, in the remote South Australian desert. This land was the home of the Anangupitjantjatjur and Yankunytjatjura people, Aboriginal communities who had lived there for tens of thousands of years, just like in New Mexico. These communities were not properly warned or protected. They were exposed to the same invisible, poison radioactive fallout. Black mists rolled across their lands, contaminating water sources and traditional foods. Many Aboriginal people developed strange illnesses and died from cancers. But because there was so little record keeping and a profound lack of concern from the authorities at the time, we may never know the true number of lives lost. Their stories are a painful chapter in Australia's history, from the young girls playing in snow in New Mexico, to the scientists tormented by their creation, to the ancient communities in the Australian outback. The story of the atomic bomb's development is filled with hidden victims. These are the people who paid the price for a new kind of power, long before it was ever used in war. Their experiences serve as a powerful and somber warning about the unintended, and often ignored, human cost of progress. It reminds us that behind every major historical event, there are personal stories of tragedy and resilience that deserve to be told and remembered. Thank you for watching. If this story touched you, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel for more hidden histories. We believe it's important to keep these memories alive.